All right, welcome in. Cube Show Podcast, a college football podcast coming to you on Mondays during college football season. This is what we do. We watch the film of all the SEC teams. We tell you what we saw on film. That's that. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. If you saw something I didn't see, or you disagree, or you love it, let us know. Tell your friends about it. Please subscribe if you're watching on YouTube right now, or if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get it. We appreciate that. We're going to go through all the games. Great weekend of college football again in the Southeastern Conference, and we're brought to you by Wickles Pickles. Wickedly delicious. Please support Wickles Pickles. They take care of us, so you guys can have the show. Order them online, wicklespickles.com. Find them in your grocery store. If you do go to a restaurant and they have an item with Wickles on it, just get it and tell them you love it and tell them Wickles was the reason why you did that. Aprons, hats, T-shirts, all the different Wickles that they have. Go check them out, wicklespickles.com. Let's roll into the games because we have a lot to get to. It took me all day Sunday. I was in Columbia, South Carolina, which means I drove to Charlotte after the game, got in late, and was on the tape pretty much all day Sunday into Monday morning, and had to come into studio, do Read and React. That'll be tonight on the SEC Network. Monday nights, SEC Network, 6 p.m. Central if you don't watch it, with Roman Harper. We have some fun things we talked about today. I'll share a few of those with you and give you some on my game in Columbia, South Carolina. Why don't we do that one first? Just go ahead and roll into it. Vanderbilt at South Carolina. Lenore Sellers gets knocked out of the game. That was a big factor. I'm not going to try to pretend like it wasn't. I'm not going to tell you that I don't think that impacted the game and affected the game. I will say a pretty nice luxury for South Carolina to bring in Luke Doty, somebody who knows the system, knows the scheme, can at least operate the offense, not the dynamic runner, not going to be the run threat that you used to having with Sellers, but at least he knows how to distribute the football. The problem is South Carolina was a little one-dimensional coming in. Now, Rashul Faison has given you some good runs. He's done some good things, but the traditional run game hasn't really been there for the Gamecocks. They can't just line up and run inside zone. They can't just line up and run power and have success. It's usually a lot of the motion, the misdirection that comes with it. Splitters coming across, jet sweeps coming across, going the opposite direction that the run's intended to go. Then you would throw Sellers with some of the read fakes on that, steal eyes, find gaps, be able to create space, and then you go. That can't happen, I don't think, if you don't have the dynamic run threat of a Lenore Sellers. He was 6 of 7, 94 yards and a pick before he came out. Ran 3 times, lost 3 yards. Doty comes in 18 of 27, 148, doesn't throw a touchdown, throws a pick. I also don't think the receivers for South Carolina are playing well enough collectively at the moment to be able to come in and help a quarterback that has a little bit less talent elevate the entire team. Nick Harbor, 4 for 66. I thought Jordan Dingle did some nice things for South Carolina, catching the football, adding some physicality at the line of scrimmage. Brady Hunt helps with that. And I'll say this, like, South Carolina got after it, man. Like, they played hard. They played aggressive. I think they had, maturity is a little bit of an issue with South Carolina right now. Love the way Boaz Stanley's been playing at center this year. I feel like he's had a good year. I thought Trovon Ball had a great game. He extra to the whistle, after the whistle, physicality, like he was trying to move people. And that group kind of went a little bit backwards as the game went on. Josiah Thompson had a couple losses over at left tackle. Cedric Surratt, the true freshman left guard, I feel like he's been playing pretty good this year. They all had a couple of letdowns here and there. Vandy showed some different looks, brought some pressures from different places. I thought up front for Vanderbilt, some of the stuff they showed allowed them to be able to mix and match coverages. I talked to Clark Lee before the game, and he went through some of the different coverages that they wanted to show, how they wanted to do that. C.J. Hurd, a really nice game for Vanderbilt on defense. Nick Rinaldi kind of running through, making plays, 24. If you watch him, he's going to be active. He's going to do those kind of things. Langston Patterson had the hit on Sellers that knocked him out of the game. He was also active. Miles Capers, the South Carolina native, gets the big strip sack late that allows essentially Vanderbilt to lock this thing up and take it home. Here were a couple of things that happened, though, from Vanderbilt's offensive perspective. You watch them run counter now. It's very different. And counter, you're usually going to see 2 pullers with that, so that cannot help you identify, or the back's going to give you one step opposite and go the other direction. 2 things that they've added: physicality up front and speed on the perimeter. So you take a Martell Height from defense, you're playing him on offense a little bit now. You go recruit this little kid named Caleb Barnett from Tulsa, Oklahoma, who's 5'8", 155. But you saw him get the ball on the perimeter a little bit. Now, all of a sudden, Tim Beck and company have some speed you have to respect outside. That might be east and west. That might be down the field. But they can at least offer that up for defenses to have to respect. So now when Diego Pavia is hitting that little flat line option, or they're running midline, or even they're running inside-outside zone, keep in mind, you could play that last year. We've added counter to that, to come backside to that. And these offensive linemen, Cade McDonald, Jordan White, Chase Mitchell, Bryce Henderson, like they can kick your ass out, and they're not afraid to do it. The physicality that has been added with Isaiah Glass and Henderson at tackle has made a massive difference. It's not coaching clinic tape, as I've stated. The footwork is not exactly what you want it to be. They're going to be on their face mask in the grass every now and then because they're going to be out on front over themselves and carrying their weight out front. They're trying to knock people around, and they're not afraid to trade paint. And I'm going to tell you, Vanderbilt came in this game with a chip on their shoulder and had a lot to say. They knew physically they got dominated a year ago. They didn't want it to happen again, and it showed with the way that they operated in this game. There was a lot of talking going on from a lot of those players, more so from a confidence standpoint. And that's the word that we heard from Clark Lee. We heard it from Tim Beck. We heard it from the players. We heard it from other members of the staff. Confidence is what that group has now, more so than ever. I think some comes from Pavia. I think some comes from results. I think some comes from different players that have stepped up and done different things for them. But they own the line of scrimmage. And not that Dylan Stewart didn't get in the backfield. He had a couple of nice rushes. You can't throw a punch and get kicked out of the game. But they don't pack the exact punch they did a year ago, and I think Vanderbilt took advantage of that. Great use of the tight ends. Cole Spence and Bryce Henderson took a D lineman literally out of the back of the end zone one time from like the 15. So those guys are getting after it. You still have who I think the most underrated player in the league, Cedric Alexander. It is a great one-handed catch in this game. He hurts you out of the backfield. Yards before carry. Last year for Vanderbilt, 1.2. This year, 4.2. So opening up those holes, adding some things to the run game, different plays you have to defend, speed on the perimeter that has to be respected. You can see now where that offense is a little different. And I'm just telling you, watching them in person, talking to them, being around them. I'm not saying 10 wins. I'm not saying national championship. I'm not even saying playoffs. I'm not saying SEC championship game. I'm just telling you this group has an edge. A little something different than we've seen in the past. Eli Stowers, a couple catches. Pavia was great. And here's the other part. This is maybe where Vandy has taken a huge leap, even bigger than those some of the leaps that we talked about, as opposed to a year ago. Diego Pavia, and I stated this on Mac and Cube in the morning. I stated this on Josh's show last week. There's going to be 3 what the F plays from Diego Pavia. Maybe 3 to 5. I think there's 4 in this game. And what did Vanderbilt do? Survived them. Because one was an across-the-body, roll to the right throw into the end zone interception. Another was going over to the right sideline, trying to option when you're getting tackled, ball on the ground, goes out of bounds. They weren't catastrophe plays. And they avoided allowing those to be catastrophes for the team, and they still come away with a dominant win on a very difficult road environment at South Carolina. It was impressive. Pavia himself, 18 of 25, 177, 2 touchdowns in that pick. He ran 11 times for 24 yards. He didn't do a ton with his legs, but he just adds it every now and then, and it's tough to deal with. And now you got Jamizel Lassiter, who had that 44-yard touchdown run, former walk-on, bet on himself. He's out there doing some different things. You have not only Cedric Alexander, but McKylan Young, who helps at running back, and he's just enough change of pace where he's like, I don't want to say slower, but he's not quite as twitchy of a runner, a little bit more of a patient runner, but likes to get downhill. They just have different guys doing different things. The tight ends get after you. They have a mismatched tight end, mobile quarterback that can give you option and read plays, can work RPOs. They take a few more shots with the speed they have on the perimeter now. They're going to be a handful, man. That's all I'm saying. They're going to be a handful. Alabama was more than a handful against Wisconsin. Ty Simpson, 24, 29, 382, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Now, some people are saying, oh, they can't run the ball. They only ran for 72 yards. All right, first off, they only had 22 carries. It's not the exact number that you would want at 3.3 per, but understand this about Kalen and Ryan Grubb's offense. A lot of the primary reads of the running back, they believe that they are extending the running game through the air a lot of the times. These backs have to catch the football. And if you go look at the numbers, what do we have? Kevin Riley had 3 catches. Trey Washington had a catch. So they're going to throw the ball to the backs out of the backfield. It's going to happen. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Ryan Williams get some time out there and get some throws every now and then, some more two-back stuff. Brian Grubb told us he wants to try to get to that down the road. So they don't have to just line up and hammer it downhill between the two guards, 30 times a game to be effective. By the way, they won 38-14. That's effective. So Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb are going to do it. The defense is giving them what gives them the best chance to win. It is not a stubborn offensive scheme that they run. I thought Ty Simpson was great. I thought he looked confident. I love the plan that they're giving him. Options to get the ball out to different places, some quick throws, some screens. The screen game was great. The Ryan Williams touchdown, Proctor's 20 yards downfield. He's blowing people up. Looked exceptional there. Now, I will say you want to see a little more push in the traditional run game. You'd like to get that going. But this is a good front seven that Wisconsin brought. They're a little bigger, more stout than I expected when I watched the film. So, yeah, they gave him a few problems there. Cuevas, great in the run game again, adding a little extra physicality, also in pass protection. He's helping and blocking there just a little bit. So I'm telling you, man, Josh Cuevas has probably been the biggest surprise bonus or plus than anybody on this Alabama football team. He's doing more good things, maybe pass or exceeding what people thought he was going to do. They knew it was in there because they've known him for a while. He's just doing a lot of it this year. Simpson ran 6 times for 25 yards. They're giving him some direct quarterback runs as well. And you see now with Ryan Williams back, a little bit more on the outside in this game. And all he's going to have to do is get balls with space, and he can make people miss. And he did that. Jeremy Bernard is that guy. Got him downfield just a little bit. The touchdown pass to Isaiah Horton on that little double post was exceptional. When you watch it on film, it looks like it goes through the DB. The DB's got his back to it, but it's really like, how did he catch that ball? Because it's through the DB. And like McElroy said on the show this morning, when you put that thing up and out, the DB can't really make a play on it. Only your receiver can get to it, and he did. It was a hell of a throw. I thought Alabama's front played well. I thought they were disruptive. You saw freshman defensive lineman in there, London Simmons making some plays. Rousseau and Pierre kind of on the edges doing some different things. LT Overton back in the lineup. He made a couple of plays, and Bray Hubbard had a big bounce-back game. I thought they flew to the football. I thought they were aggressive at the point of attack. They continued to use their hands a little bit better in that front seven, and that's where the letdown was in week one. They weren't going to get that stretch play going. They weren't going to allow Wisconsin to do that. Wisconsin on the ground, 34 for 92, so under 3 yards a carry. It was a solid performance. And you got to spike that thing. You got to set the edge against it. And I thought some of the Alabama edge defenders did a really nice job of that, essentially saying, not coming here, not going to happen. We'll spill that thing. We'll play it. We're going to make life difficult on it, and you're going to have to find somewhere else to go with it. So I thought the defense looked stout against the run. I thought they flew to the football. Bray Hubbard, a couple interceptions. It was a dominant performance all the way around. Okay, you give up a special teams touchdown, so be it. I mean, it's, going to happen. And the touchdown pass was a good throw. But I came away from this thinking still a couple of pass pro issues with the tackles. That's got to get cleaned up. Simpson did feel like he saw it and was noticing it a little bit faster, and he's getting the ball out a little bit quicker. You have a loaded room of running backs. I don't know how, when Jam Miller comes back, they're going to distribute this playing time or these carries. But either way, you got a quarterback now. Ty Simpson's not afraid to take a check down. He's not afraid to throw screens. He's not afraid to take the easy grass. That's going to be effective with the amount of weapons that Alabama has, because you just can't cover up all these guys. Somebody's going to have space to get open and then make plays after they catch the ball. And then when the adjustments are made for that, the running back should be able to get loose with an offensive line that's pushing people around. I mean, now you might have some depth at right tackle. It looks like now with Jaden Roberts back, you're going to have some depth at right guard. That means you can start rolling people, keep your O-line fresher into later in the season. Trending up, Alabama. I don't know how you think they're not after watching that game. Hey, guys, don't forget about Game Day Men's Health. Just go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com right now. Sign up for the free consultation. This is what you're going to get. Free PSA test, free testosterone test, tell you where your health is, and then you go in there, they present the options to you. Weight loss options, testosterone replacement options. They have the peptides that your body quits making over time. Those can get you back on the right track. Let them help you. I just want you to feel better. Stress-free, locker room environment. They're open and trustful now, by the way. Just go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com, sign up for that free consultation. Tell them you heard about them right here on the Future. Arkansas goes down at Ole Miss, 35-41. This is a hell of a game. This is a fun game to watch. I mean, you talk about guys making plays on offense. I mean, it was cool to see. Taylon Green, this is what he is. Taylon Green's a takeover quarterback. He went out there and about took over this game. 22 of 35, 305, a touchdown, no picks. He ran for 115 yards and a touchdown. One really bad decision. One really bad decision from him. And you look back and a lot of the throws had chances. He had a drop here or there, but he is so comfortable with how he works this offensive scheme now. Like coming in and out of the fakes, he understands not just that pressure's coming, but where it's coming from, and he'll get out of that pocket in a hurry. He's a little more decisive with leaving the pocket now than I think he was a year ago. And he understands that, like, him being a runner is a weapon. Yes, they have design runs for him, but he has such a good feel of when to get down and go, following his center out on a block, on a quarterback draw later in the game. He's able to go make some things happen. And just needed a couple of more to be able to get in there and go, and need to stop on defense. Omega Blake had a nice game. Thought he did some good things. Defensively for Ole Miss, is one of the best games I've seen Suntarine Perkins play. He's like knifing his way down inside to stop the run. He's setting the edge, like setting a tough edge against the defense. He's a lighter player out there on the edge. Then you see him back in space, doing different things in coverage or coming back up making hits. Xavion Harris was disruptive up front, which he usually is. That's kind of what he does. TJ Daugherty, sideline to sideline and north and south, physicality. He had a good game. And then I think they have some things on the back end that they're going to need to sort of square up. Some things they're going to need to look at and say, yeah, we can't continue to operate like this, because teams are going to find ways to beat us. And we're going to have to make some adjustments with what we do from a coverage standpoint, because this just is not going to be it. We're not going to be able to continue to go that way. I love seeing the offensive line for Arkansas. I saw a little bit more duo, got a little bit more push in the traditional run game. Thought 76 had some good reps in the run game. And when Talon would get going, it felt also too like there's a couple of offensive linemen that are starting to understand when he's leaving, and like they'll get out there and go with it. So, you know, they got that thing figured out. And I look at that Ole Miss defense, and it's like the personnel feels like they got guys who can make plays. Contain was a little bit of an issue outside on the edges sometimes. I think Six is a guy that's going to help them on defense a lot. He can go make plays for you, but you got to find a way to consistently get ball carriers to the ground on the perimeter, and I didn't think that happened for Ole Miss in this game. For Ole Miss on offense, there's a weird deal with the quarterbacks. Like Trinidad Chambliss starts the game. Austin Simmons came in, looked gimpy. Chambliss was 21 of 29, 353 and a touchdown. He ran for 62. Like the kid, he's a player, man. I shared with y'all after week one, Lane said once they got in their live scrimmages that he kind of took over. Didn't look all that great in practice, but then all of a sudden he's making these plays and he's moving the football. He can just work it. Like he gets in and out of the fakes quick. He's decisive on his cuts. He can find space. He's a little smaller and shiftier. So he was going to be their run threat quarterback anyway. But he's got the arm to be able to make some throws. I thought Harrison Wallace had a really nice game. Kejuan Lacey didn't really get going, but did a couple of nice things for him. The offensive line's just got a ways to go if they're going to continue opening things up and be able to run the ball when they want to run the ball, not just when teams are giving them the run. But I look at Ole Miss as this being a nice win because you had the quarterback situation going on, and you're still able to beat a team that usually you have a weird game with, and it's a conference game. Like that's a nice win for me. Thought 50 was good in the run game. 8 had a nice game. 2 outside was a pretty good job. The wide receivers did a good job adjusting to the football. And maybe that's you getting so much work with Austin Simmons, but coming back to the ball, slowing down, waiting for the ball, items like that where it goes back, it reinforces what Lane Kiffin told us in that these wide receivers can all make plays and they're just football players. They're not combine guys. They might not be the longest, the fastest, but when they need to break a route off early, they know how to do it. When they need to slow a route down to have a better chance to catch the football, they know how to do that. So nice win for Ole Miss. Tough one for Arkansas, man, because like they showed up to play. Defensively, I thought Arkansas played fast. I thought Steven Dixon, Xavier Story were moving. They were running. They were playing. Arkansas is getting better play off the edge than I thought they would. Like Justice Boone is giving them really good reps. Quincy Rhodes kind of goes inside, outside a little bit, 97. He's got flexibility to do different things. They caused some problems on the edges, held up fairly well inside and didn't have to overcommit to the numbers. But it's just that stuff out on the perimeter sometimes it gets away from them, and they're not able to make those plays. And then, 2, you just look at some of the coverage. Like, I thought Travis did some different things. It wasn't a wild and crazy, completely different plan. But I do think that sometimes you look back and you just miss some spots in zone. Like, they're either in the wrong spots or didn't get to the spots where the route was going to go and couldn't close that space fast enough. That cost them some in this game. Contested balls, also going back to what we said about Ole Miss. Contested balls went Ole Miss's way a little bit more of the time. So that was also problematic. But a nice win for Ole Miss. And, hey, I'm just going to tell you, be careful with that one this weekend, because that is not one to be messed with. John Summerall's Tulane team looked pretty good this year, and they will fight you. They do not care. Auburn gets the win against South Alabama. For the most part, really nice win, really solid win. I'm just going to say this about Auburn. Jeremiah Wright is bringing something to that offensive line that hasn't been there in a really long time. Like, this kid's a fighter. He's a finisher. He wants to punish you, and he's physically capable of doing some of those things. Connor Lew had a nice game inside. The tackles still had some real breakdowns in protection. Thought Dylan Wade had his best game of the season at left guard, specifically working up to the second level, doing different things. The run game's there. They stuck with the run game again. I thought Jackson Arnold looked fine throwing the ball. Nice ball down the sideline to Cam Coleman for a touchdown. Understanding the velocity needs to change on some of the intermediate stuff a little bit more, I think. I think that's coming down just a little bit. Catch and run was good for them, which they're going to need this week because they're going to have to get the ball out quick against Oklahoma, and you're going to need your guys to make them pay. That's why I think they had Singleton going a little bit on the east-west stuff, like get him going, get him a good feel of the offense, understand that you're going to play him, and that's going to be a part of what you do. Arnold with his legs also breaking them down again, showing some good things that way. But I like the inside run, and it seems like Auburn's committed to it. Got a little bit more from the tight ends in the run game in this one. So I thought that was a plus. Now, defensively, you couldn't fit counter in this game. It kind of reminded me of that Penn State game a couple of years ago. Like, literally the same play, off tackle, over and over, and it's like, where's the adjustment? I was surprised DJ didn't go to a little more four down, even though it felt like Kieran Crawford had a good game. Felt like Keldrick Falk did some good things. But sometimes in a little three-man front, when you're compressed down, it's tough to be able to make that play out on the edge when you got crack blocks and different guys double down and you get that bump technique that's trying to put you out of your gap. There was a couple Auburn D linemen displaced out of gaps with those down block techniques. You got a guy, you're engaged, somebody slams you, and then they're trying to climb up, and they were displaced out of their gaps. That opened up some run space. But Crawford was active in the run game, had a couple good pass rush reps. Same thing. I thought 97 did some good things inside. Bobby did a nice job kind of holding the point, doing some different things there. 35 is kind of coming around at D tackle. He used his hands well, strike and shed, doing some different things. But some of the misdirection caught him off guard. The pocket movement, I didn't think they reacted very well to that. That was a little bit of a problem defensively. RPO is kind of a problem. Staying at home, staying in your space, trying to take those zones away. That didn't always happen. Thought 41 was a really nice surprise on defense. Like, there's a physical portion to what he did in the run game, like taking on a few pullers, kind of striking, shedding, setting the edge a little bit, and then down inside some. He's like a little extra physical element to what Auburn had on that defensive line. I thought he did a nice job. At the end of the day, it's a 31-15 win. You got some reps with your receivers. Your quarterback got a little more confidence. You found a few more guys that are going to be helping you in different places. You take that W, you move on. You should be fine. But this is a big one this weekend, and they're going to need to be more than fine if they're going to compete with or beat Oklahoma. Florida LSU. I understand BK got mad at those questions after the game, but like some of them are warranted, just not with that tone, I don't think. Caden Durham goes 15 for 93, 22 for 102 for the game. This goes back to some of the stuff from last year. There were a couple things happening with the run game early. Like, you saw signs of life. A little inside zone here and there, a little power play here and there, and it's like, okay, I could see that get going. And here's where we're going to be. This is what we're going to get to. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. It's the same place we were last year. Matt Moscano, I'm talking to you. This is what's going to happen. We're going to get 2-3 more games down the road, and I'm going to start hearing about how this LSU offensive line can't run block. And I'm going to ask you guys the exact same question I asked a year ago. How do you know? Because they're not giving them a real chance to consistently get it going. Whatever that crazy stat we saw of how many back-to-back runs, I think they had consecutive run plays on 23 plays last year out of like 600 plays. I would like to know what it is this year because I hadn't seen a lot of back-to-back runs. Not saying you have to have that to run the football, but there needs to be a little more commitment to it if you're ever going to consistently be good at it. And they got to stop free runners, man. Like Auburn, stop free runners. Oklahoma, stop free runners. LSU, stop free runners. Florida, stop free runners. Like turning guys free at your quarterback is going to get him killed. Missouri, block the free runners. It's almost an epidemic around the league where guys are just letting defenders have this free space to just go run at their quarterback. And yeah, Prbula can make a miss, or John Mateer can juke him, or Jackson Arnold can run away from him. That's not going to happen the whole year. At some point in time, they're not going to be looking at him. And you can't have them taking those shots. Garrett Nussmeier has made 4 to 6 amazing throws this year, maybe like throws of the year. Now, they're usually over the middle of the field because he's ducking, dodging, trying to throw before a guy gets to him, and that's why the throw looks amazing, but he throws it to a spot that the receiver can go get it because he wasn't even out of his break yet, and it looks incredible. Like, that's got to go away. The pass pro stuff for LSU's got to be cleaned up. Some of that was on the running backs. Some of that's got to be on Nuss with the numbers game, knowing where to get it or how to handle it. But that's got to stop. You know, Caleb Banks was great on defense when he was in. I thought the Florida defense played fast. I thought they played aggressive. They found ways to get to the quarterback. George Gums looked great in this game, 34 on the edge. I mean, he's playing the run. He had pass rush moves going. Thought he did some really nice things. I thought Brennan Bett, 90 inside, did a good job kind of stuffing the run, holding up against the run. I thought Tyreek Sapp had a couple good reps in there. Now, from a coverage standpoint, like zone coverage in the slot, problem. Man coverage in the slot, problem. That's one of the things we're going to talk about with LSU down the road is when you get up against somebody that can just half manage the slot, you better have some other options ready to go because it's been a little easy with those mismatches thus far, and that might not be the way all the way around. Offensive line struggled for Florida, though. The run game never got consistently going. I do think Jaden Ball ran well, obviously had the big pass that he caught, but consistently 10 for 46 is not enough. And I realize where the game is, where the game's going. You got to kind of turn things, but I didn't think there was enough vertically for DJ to utilize to try to challenge the defense. Protection's a big part of that. I understand that. I get that. A lot of crossers, a lot of quick outs. There were multiple uncovered receivers where in the slot, all you have to do, we would make a 90 check, 90-90, we block outside zone, catch, snap, turn, throw. And the defender's 15 yards away from him. By the way, that's not just a Florida problem. Like, nobody wants to do that anymore. It is literal free grass. If you get half a stalk block from the receiver next to him, you can get around him for 10, 15 yards every time. And you know what? Worst case, you get 4 yards. 2nd and 6, we'll take it, man. Like, it's stealing. But for some reason, nobody wants to do it. I don't know what he was seeing. I understand. Like, Blake's changing the picture constantly, and I get that. And you got to be concerned about the pressure, especially when it gets to you a couple of times. But what concerned me more than anything, it felt like he was potentially protecting his lower body a little bit. That's just what I saw. I'm not a quarterback expert. You know, I'm not George Whitfield. I don't know all the fundamentals of it. But I'm telling you what I see from the other guys I watch, and compared to this game, like he's jumping to throw, and like he's not stepping into throws. He's playing up on his toes. Maybe some, quarterback experts can give us reasons for some of this stuff. Like, that's what I saw from Lagway. So, yeah, he's seeing ghosts or whatever, but, like, also technically and fundamentally, he was off. Just watch his feet. Throwing balls out to the right, not stepping into them, his hips staying open. Like, you can't drive the ball with power and confidence that way. That's one of the biggest things that I saw from him. Now, the protection wasn't there, but a lot of times the underneath routes on, like you have – one where tight ends run a little out route and slot's going to just run, seam right up the middle. You have one defender there playing zone. You're just reading him. Is he bailing with the seam, or is he going out with the tight end in the flat? Well, when he takes 2 steps backwards, you hit the tight end now and you go. Like, those are things that weren't happening in this game. And, did they block them up great? No. But a lot of that too is because LSU, man, like these guys, like that was the best football I've seen Patrick Payton play in a while. Whether it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever his big year was at Florida State, he was awesome. And then it's kind of gone downhill. He looked great in this game. This was the first time I felt like LSU, his length really paid off. I think he batted a ball or two. He was up in the quarterback's face a couple of times. He had great pass rush reps. And The thing with LSU's defense right now, more so than anything else that I see, is buy-in. These dudes are bought in. Like, you get inside and you start watching how they run some of these stunts in some of these games, and you start looking around, and it's like, they're not doing it for themselves. You see 96 come on a twist. Now, he does end up penetrating through the double team at one point, but like, he's trying to take the center out and occupy the guard coming with him to help. And that loop man, he knows is going to get to the quarterback. He ain't doing that for himself. He knows setting. I've told you about Pyburn. Like, if he needs to go upfield, if he needs to crash into the tackle to allow a corner crash, or Harold Perkins, who's like floating out there to the outside, to come up underneath, he's going to do that. So it's impressive to see the buy-in from that group, top to bottom. They all know the mission, and they all seem to be playing that way. A.J. Halsey is a friggin' dog on the back end. He will put his body on the line. He gets a great beat on the football. Like, his jumps on the ball are incredible. He's good in coverage. He's got good length. He's a ball player, man. Like, he's perfect for that system too, because you're going to ask him to do a bunch of different things, cover different ways, cover different ground, and he can do it. But I will continue to go back to this. Yes, Harold Perkins is fitting in well. I hated to see Whit Weeks go out of this game. Didn't like that. Wes Weeks played great, though, when he went out. The guys up front in the middle have stepped up well past where I ever thought they would be. Like, I did not expect Don McKinley to do some of the things he's doing. Gilroy, we've seen these guys for a while, but they're doing it. Ahmad Bro, they're doing it better than I thought they were going to do. Walter Mathis is doing some good things inside. So those guys kind of get it started. That allows everybody else to do the things that they're doing, and they're going to attack you from forever, and if from wherever. And if you start thinking about it, if you start thinking about where they're coming from, how we're going to block them, and what we're going to do, you're done. It's over. It's over at that point. But it was a fun game to watch. Like, Austin Barber had a big block in this game. I mean, big 75 for LSU is latched onto somebody late, riding him out of bounds. I wonder, for LSU moving forward, will there ever be more commitment to the run game? I mean, listen, BK can say what he wants after the game. Your second, there's only one team that has fewer rushing yards per game, and only one team that has fewer rushing touchdowns in the league. That's the team that they just held out of the end zone from rushing the ball, by the way. And you're 12th in third down conversions. So some of those questions after the game contextually are warranted. Now, I get it. The contact, the way that they, like, the attitude that came with it, the negativity, like, yeah, no, not right there. I get that part, and I don't mind him taking up for his team at all. I loved it. I thought it was great. But there are some portions of where they were going with that's actually sensical. And they've had a lot of success going to the slot. They've had a lot of success in the quick game. If that is ever neutralized to any extent with a good pass rush, I want to see where they're going to go next and how they're going to operate with that. Maybe nobody can do that. I don't know. I mean, they'll be fine, but we'll see. A tough one for Florida. 5 interceptions from a quarterback. Can't have it. Just can't have it. Like, you're not winning that game. Not even Jamie Howard can win that game. So it's just not going to take place. But I was really impressed with the LSU defense. Interested to see kind of where the LSU offense goes. All right, guys, you've heard me talking about pizza pulls. If you're trying to get back into the hobby, it's easy. Look, Fanatics Live app. All right, you're going to get that. You're going to go hit the search key up here in the corner. You're going to search pizza, and you're going to go to shops, and you're going to see pizza pulls right there. I'm in there every Wednesday breaking cards. John set me up at the house now. Let's see what we got right now. What we're doing. Little Insta-rips and some Obsidian basketball. There we go. We're going in there right now. See? I get the shout out when I go in. There we go. Love that. We'll give you a couple flame emojis on that. Listen, you want to get in on the Donruss Elite NFL. You want to get on Origins NFL. You want to get on Obsidian NBA. They got Pokemon. They got golf. Everything. Topps Finest Baseball is in there now. Tier 1 Baseball is in there now. Get in there with Matt and get that going. Go to pizzapulls.com or Fanatics Live. Also, they're on Whatnot. You can go get a couple in there as well. And don't pay $5, $8, $1,200 for a box of cards. Get the team you want for $10, $15, $25, $1. I've had that happen to me a couple of times. And get going with what you want. And Pizza Pull's going to help you do that. I'm in there every Wednesday breaking football cards. Get in there with me this week. Georgia, Tennessee. Goodness gracious, this was a war. This was not what people expected. If you told me you expected this, I'm not going to believe you. First off, no one thought we were getting 85 points going to overtime. Because remember, Yeah, Tennessee couldn't cover, but Georgia didn't throw the ball down the field. You know, some people thought that Georgia would stymie the Tennessee offense. Like, they did everything we didn't think they were going to do, but that's not what surprised me the most about this. It wasn't Georgia's defense. It wasn't Tennessee's defense. I walked away from this game, and y'all, some of you won't like this. I don't care. But this, when I turned this game off, I want you to know how I felt. Now, I went in feeling really good about Georgia and pretty good about Tennessee. I know the final score. I know where the game was played. I know how the game went. I watched every snap multiple times. But if you're talking about where I was with these two teams and where I am now, I gained more appreciation for Tennessee after this game. Now, I was higher on Georgia anyway, so it's not I'm not putting Georgia down at all. But I didn't really know still exactly what we had in some facets of Tennessee. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Georgia fans, just push pause for a minute, and, you know, I'll put my finger down when you can come back. This was as close as Tennessee has been to matching the physicality of Georgia in, I mean, you tell me, 10, 15, Peyton Manning era? Like, I don't know, but I know that blows were traded on both sides. Lance Hurd's knocking people on their ass, okay? Raylan Wilson's knocking people on their ass. Like, this was it's not going to appear that way because Gunnar Stockton was tossing the ball down the field. Joey Aguilar's tossing the ball down the field. Tennessee's lined up with these wide splits. Blows were traded. Like, these were two heavyweights standing in the middle of the ring, taking their shots. And guys were getting knocked down, and they were getting back up. I respect the hell out of Georgia's resolve in this game, because there were so many spots when it appeared as though Tennessee was right on the brink. You get 1 3rd down play coming home across for 3rd and 6, and here comes 8. Bam, not getting it. Not going to happen on us today. You know, and Aguero comes up and makes that stop. You think you're getting that, and then all of a sudden you hit the quarterback. Whatever it is. Like, Georgia made plays that aren't your SportsCenter highlight or SportsCenter top 10 plays to stay in this game and then to take this game. Like the London Humphreys catch, yeah, that was amazing. 4th down, like, we get it. That's awesome. But there were a lot of other little plays inside of how things were going that aren't going to get the attention that individual Georgia players and that staff and those coaches and those sides of the ball deserve a lot of credit for. But I'm just telling you, physically, with those two tight ends, that running back, I mean, and listen, hey, there was one pressure that came on Star Thomas, and he was pretty good in pass pro. But it was either C.J. Allen, I think it was C.J. Allen or Raylan Wilson, and I mean, his neck pops back, knocks him in the quarterback's lap. That's the kind of game it was. Like, paint was traded. Face masks were dented in this game. It was awesome to watch. It took me like 2.5 hours because Georgia ran like 90 plays, but damn, that was fun to watch because it was a bloodbath with a lot of fireworks on the outside. So Georgia proves, okay, we do have a little bit of a passing game. And I thought Georgia did what they needed to do. They leaned on the quarterback runs. They found their shots. One, by design, by alignment. You got some switch concepts where receivers are going to get that extra space because of the coverage you're getting. That's smart on Bobo's part. Another, a little bit of help with Tim Banks. First play of the game. You bring safety blitz from depth. Nah, I didn't love that. And you hit a one-on-one down the sideline. I rewound that a bunch trying to see if I thought Stockton saw it and checked to that. I can't say definitively that I feel like he did. But that's Tim Banks right there at the beginning of the game saying, I trust my corners. And maybe it, didn't go his way a lot of the times. Aaron Carter played fast. Up front, I mean, Tyree West was great up front for Tennessee. Dominic Bailey was great up front for Tennessee. Caleb Herring made some plays. And for Georgia up front on defense, like, those dudes were getting after it. Christian Miller, 52, had good reps. I thought Gabe Harris had good pass rush reps, good run reps. Like, he's consistently does things to help the team win. The linebackers were really good. They struggled to fit some of the insert stuff with the tight ends every now and then. Tennessee, not great against screens. The Georgia tight ends blocked their rear ends off. The perimeter blocking was great for Georgia. London Humphreys had one. Delp had two. Both tight ends on the quarterback run. Gunnar Stockton, when he gets in. I mean, I thought both teams had really good plans. Tennessee was new. I mean, Aguilar was deliberate. He knew where he wanted to get the ball. He didn't try to hold it too long. They stuck with the run game. They were stubborn with the run game, but not past where I thought they needed to be. Using the tight ends to insert, using them to split, trying to get linebackers out of their gaps a little bit. It was just a great football game, man. It really was. And it came down to, a missed kick, a receiver falling down that turns into an interception, and a couple other mistakes here or there. But it's not like Georgia didn't make mistakes. It helped Tennessee out. So it was just back and forth. It was an awesome game. I'm actually disappointed I wasn't able to sit there and watch that game live. Like, that's how great that game looked. But give Georgia a ton of credit, man. They took it. They went and got it, and that's a massive win for them when you think about just kind of where they are. Oklahoma handles Temple 42-3. Did see a little bit of that maybe traditional run game coming back for Oklahoma. Okay? Well, offense had some really good and some that zone scheme run for Oklahoma, a little better. Guys getting after it at the line of scrimmage just a little bit more. Now climbing to the second level, not as great. So combo block, not identifying linebacker, either playing backside, front side, run through, not coming off in time, whatever. But, hey, progress with that. I thought 54 played well up front, moves really well, did some good things at right guard. Pass pro, it's a lot of slide stuff, and I get it, but the center is letting people run through the A-gap. So, listen, 12 is a Swiss Army knife. Man, Kanik does, he blocks, he gets out and blocks in space, he helps with the line of scrimmage, he catches the ball, catch and run was nice. He just does a lot, man. Catch and run is going to be really tough to manage with this group because they have a lot of quick route options, and they have multiple guys that when they get it, they can go. And they don't wait to go. They go before they catch the ball, and it is going to be tough to defend. The catch and run was really good in this game. Quarterback did miss a few, but that's just kind of him, I think. Like, he's not always going to be super accurate. He's almost more accurate when, like, things are breaking down or things are not perfect. So I expect that to a little bit of an extent. It's not a bad thing. It's not crazy. He did have some silly good throws, though. Some amazing throws. He was really good eluding that rush that did get after him a couple of times. Those free runners, though, man, I'm just going to tell you, they've got to cut down on those. Running backs did a nice job of bouncing things to the outside. So that inside zone, if it bounced outside, a couple of gap scheme runs, wait, bounce outside. I thought that was good. Defense, awesome. 65-0, big problems inside. They're not slowing down on the movement in there either. They're going to keep moving those guys, twisting them, looping them, and they are ridiculous to deal with in there. 10, good versatility. Off the ball, on the ball. He was on the edge a little more, I felt like, in this game, and he was somebody that made some plays. 13 came in on some pressures. Like, he comes in like a bat out of hell. He caused a few problems in there with pressures and whatnot. He was effective. The timing of these pressures is what's really impressive. Like, a little bit like LSU, they know how to wait and, like, really ride off of a defensive tackle's butt cheek, or they know how to wait, and then when one goes, he's already there. You don't have time really to adjust to get back to where you think he's going to be. They just play fast on defense. They attack the football. They play fast. They run. They batted a couple balls at the line of scrimmage, which, if you think about it, is like such a lost art, such a hidden gem if you can do that, with so much quick game. If you have guys that have a knack for that, I think you're stealing a possession or two in a game. Because all of a sudden, 2nd and 10, or you have a route that's open that looks like it's going to maybe be an explosive play. You remove an explosive play, get the ball back. Like, it's huge for teams to be able to do it. Thought the backs ran hard. Backs did some good things. 6, Torrey Blaylock, I believe. He was fun to watch, kind of bouncing a few outside, made some things happen. Got to see Michael Hawkins play a little bit in this game. Felt pretty good about what he did. Isaiah Satanga has been great for this group. Maybe more so than I thought he was going to be. Had another good game for OU. There's not a ton to discuss with 42-3 because it was dominant. But again, you give Oklahoma credit for handling their business, and you continue to see the same things showing up that you like about what they do and who they are. Missouri takes down Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. Bo Prabula's solid, 15-22, 174, 2 touchdowns and interception. But my Lord, the run game. 62 carries, 427 yards, 5 rushing touchdowns. Ahmad Hardy, 22 for 250, 3 touchdowns. 7th running back in Mizzou football history to have a 250-yard rushing game. What? Because Marquise Davis went 20 for 113 too. They had the stretch play going. The tight ends were such a big help. 86 and 87 both do a great job in the run game. They're starting to add some pin pull elements to the perimeter run, whether it's cracks, whether it's slots covering, blocking down, tackles blocking down, pulling around. They're finding different ways to add a puller at different points in time. It's fun to watch. It's a really cool run scheme because they give you the misdirection with it, and it is just really tough to defend. And they got backs that can go. I mean, that's at the end of the day, you got backs that can go. You can add quarterback run, and how do you defend it? Because they got playmakers that are making plays in space too. 56, nice job getting up to the second level. 79, very physical there. Center playing good football. I thought the backs were patient, deliberate, and ran with authority. So waiting on things to develop, foot in the ground, get north and south. Once it opens up, wait for it to open up, wait for it to develop, whether it's too much flow, whether it's guys getting reached, and then get north and south with authority. They did that. And the quarterback can add some runs to that too with an extra blocker. And he was a little off in the quick game. I actually thought usually the quick game, it's too much velocity. They're trying to fire everything in there. I actually thought he took a little too much off in the quick game. And some of the balls were behind the receivers or didn't get there on time. I want a little more zip on those. Feel like that can get there. Also, this defense is getting like no credit. Nobody's talking about them. But they can get after you, man. Zion Young, Damon Wilson up front, Josiah Trotter at linebacker flies downhill. Like he plays hard. Marvin Burks plays like the Tasmanian devil. Like Jalen Catalon's playing good football. Like I don't think people realize that with Sam Williams and a couple other guys inside, Nate Johnson can go outside, inside. One, they have the versatility that they do. And two, they have the guys that play the way they do up front. And I think their defense can be harder to deal with than people realize right now. Like they penetrated, they disrupted, they took on pullers. It was a good day for the defense, man. 91 inside, taking on double teams, really good. 92 inside, great with his hands, strike and shed. And then they just play fast. 5 blitzing, like all out, making you pay for it. All around, just a good performance by Missouri. I love mix and match in the run game. I love sticking with the run game when it's working. Tight ends helping in the run game. Receivers when they do get a chance to make a few plays. And the defense just attacking you, man. And that's what Missouri did. It was a solid win against a pretty good program. I understand who it is, but they handled their business. So I'm going to give Missouri credit for that. And they deserve credit for that. All right, Roback, you know, every week I've got it. I sport it. You'll see me read and react wearing it. And you'll see me walking around town wearing it because I love it. These hoodies, man, so comfortable. I love the hoodies. Quarter zip's great. Polo's great. They got shorts like dressy shorts, workout shorts, and all the school gear now. So you can get this hoodie in LSU, Auburn, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. Go get it right now. Roback.com. Use promo code COLE20, COLE20. Save 20% on your order. Hats, belts, pants, joggers. They got it all at Roback. Go to Roback.com. Long sleeve t-shirts, t-shirts with the hoodies, sport t-shirts, cotton t-shirts. They got it all, man. Go to Roback.com today and get yourself some new gear and get ready for fall. COLE20 is the promo code and save 20%. Mississippi State smashes Alcorn State. This game was 63-0, 28-0 at the end of one. Blake Shapen had 173. He was 10 of 14, 2 touchdowns a pick. Fluff Bothwell ran for 93. There's not a lot of massive takeaways here, but there are a few. And I love how aggressive they came out. Shot play out of the gate. Couple reverses. Like, you had a handoff to the backup quarterback, and he throws it. Like, I just like that Jeff comes out there and is like, we're going to let it rip, guys. Have fun. Put more on film. Show you can execute some of this stuff, and there they go. It looks like they're going with a little more duo in the run game, which you got to get north and south with that, and you got to get a little bit of a push, and they did. About 50 blocked well in some of those. 88, great effort in the run game. They have tight ends that can block, and they have tight ends that are not afraid to help block because we know Traore can do it, and they got a couple tight ends that will get out there, and they're going to bust it to try to help you open some things up in the run game, and I love that. So I think the run game is becoming a little more something that they can lean on and get some things done for them. But the quarterbacks were accurate. They got shots down the field. Defense, Nick Mitchell played hard. He was flying around. Now, they're still overrunning some things. They're getting out of position a little bit, but they're playing fast. Had a couple coverage breakdowns, both man and zone, but solid pass rush up front from 27. I love how 7 plays downhill, and he'll put his body on the line. He will attack you. He'll attack blocks. He'll attack ball carriers. 87 kind of in, out, doing some different things. Like the way he plays up front on that defensive line. So different players kind of stepping up that we're seeing now, taking on different roles with this group. And I think it's one that, like Jamil Burrows, like I just said, 88, he's giving them some extra inside. Corey Clark's giving them a little extra inside. These are guys we didn't really know they were going to give them that much. So I think when you continue to look ahead, like they're going to give you some things that are going to be a problem. Zachary Tillman playing downhill, like I said, from the safety spot. It was fun to watch. I know the opponent, but like they need games like this to build confidence and to have things on tape to show people what they're capable of, that they can go out and make certain things happen, both offensively and defensively. Texas UTEP. First off, I'm going to say this. This game, this film, UTEP may have put on film the best individual tackling performance that I've seen this year. And I actually called Roman late in the day yesterday because we did Read and React today. And I was like, have you watched Texas yet? He said, no. I said, I think it's the best tackling performance I've seen all year, any team. The amount of one-on-one tackles that were made was extraordinary. So I'm going to give that group credit. But on the flip side, everybody's pointing at Arch right now. 11 to 25, 114, a touchdown and a pick. Like, oh, he's grimacing when he's throwing. Oh, he's changed his throwing motion. Oh, he missed a couple throws. And he did. And I still think he's rushing things. And I still think he's panicking a little bit. And I still think that he's just like he's too tense. He's going to find his calm, okay? He's going to relax a little bit, and the things are going to get better. But in the meantime, guys are dropping passes. Defenders are running free at him. Running backs are not making people miss and not breaking tackles anywhere near the rate that they did a year ago. It ain't even close. So until all of those things start to take place, you can't just point at him because, yeah, he's got his misses and he's got his issues. Some can maybe get settled this year, but they got to have some other guys start. I think we had a segment on the show tonight talking about, all-state playoff predictor chances, whatever. I think it's a little early for that conversation, but it's fun to go ahead and have. We had to give a reason for and against a couple of different teams, and Texas was in there. My reason for Texas is overall talent. Bottom line. Like, you got receivers that can make plays. You got offensive line that were highly rated. Quarterback that has talent. You got defensive linemen that can get to the quarterback. Linebackers that can fly around and make plays. Safeties that can make plays. Like, they got guys. The level of play needs to be raised across the board. Now, that doesn't mean that Trey Moore and Colin Simmons and, Anthony Hill are not playing good football, because they are. Michael Taft playing good football. Lee Fowles playing great football. But Ryan Wingo can come up. Gibson Simon can come up. Livingstone has been pretty good. Jordan Washington can come up. Like, the offensive line can come up. DJ Campbell had some good blocks in this game, especially pulling. But the level of play around him has got to raise before he is going to be able to raise his level of play. That's just the reality. 27-10, Texas gets the win. You take that, you continue to work on your problems, and you continue to build confidence that some of those guys can be able to go make those plays. But, the flood concepts in the passing game are still there. It's just guys are catching it and they're getting tackled. The zone scheme is there. It's just guys are taking handoffs and they're getting off tackle and they're getting pulled to the ground. That wasn't happening last year. That's what I see right now with Texas. I see some guys on defense getting after it. I mentioned Lee Fowle. He's getting after it. Ethan Burke plays hard, uses his hands well, but did they lose contain a couple of times? Yes, they did. Getting out of their gaps occasionally, getting displaced. Yeah, maybe playing a little bit too far over. And the running backs have good patience. Like, they're seeing things the correct way, but it's just, you got to make some guys miss. You got to do some things. So defensively, I feel pretty good about him. 93 in there taking on blocks. I like him inside. He dent the pocket a couple of times. 99, super solid inside. Listen, you took the ball away. Contain was a little bit of an issue. Scramble drill's kind of been an issue, I feel like, a lot of this year because the +1 runs also hurt on top of that with the quarterback stuff. Zone coverage on the sidelines, not always great. 9 made some plays, 5 made some plays. The D-line also, like I'm talking about getting out of gaps displaced, shoulders turning a little bit too much. And when you turn your shoulders, you're definitely not making the play over there. And if the guy's coming here, you're probably not making the play either. Trust me, as an offensive lineman, that's what I want. Turn your shoulders because I can get you reached or we're probably going to be able to push you. How do you want to push somebody? Turned or like this, facing you? You want them to turn. They're going to be easier to move. Bottom line. Texas A&M gets a huge one for a lot of reasons. I mean, hadn't done it in forever, hadn't done it a lot in the school's history. 41-40 over Notre Dame. They get the win. Notre Dame goes to 0-2. A&M goes to 3-0. I don't want to say much about it from a negative perspective because you got this win and it was huge. It was in South Bend. It's a massive win. Mario Craver was great. Concepcion was awesome. Those two are just dynamic. Like, they can make plays. I just want to see a little more commitment to the traditional run game. And that is not going to happen shotgun with an offset running back, just like LSU. But I tell you this, 71 will move some people. 78 will move some people. And 78 might struggle in pass pro a little bit. But there are guys up front on that offensive line that can move people. And the tight ends are good helping them. The tight ends gave good reps in the run game. 17 can help move. 87 can help move. They don't mind doing it. There's got to be a commitment to it, man. I thought Reed was good moving around the pocket a little bit. He missed some layups. Bottom line, like, he was 17 of 37, guys. Yeah, he had 360 and 2 touchdowns, but a couple jump balls. He's going to get those because he has receivers that can do it and that can run past people. And his ability to run is going to probably take people out of man, and he can pick apart zones. So it's a good recipe to have. It's just, I think there's another part of it that can be there. And there was a thought process from me and a couple others that maybe they're getting this passing game going like this for this game, and then they can kind of work on a little more balance later on. Possibly. You gave up 147 on the ground, 293 to the air. You took the ball away. Defensively, this group can get after the quarterback now. We're starting to figure that out. Like, this group can rush the passer, and that's not going away. So that's going to be huge. The O-line fought hard, man. They did. 71, super intense. 78 had some really good reps. I mean, he got some guys on the ground. Quarterback's legs do help break some things down. I get that. I understand that. But I want to see more just called inside zone. I want to see more called power and just let them rip. Tight ends helped at the line of scrimmage. That flood concept that they had, they kind of stole that from Texas, I feel like, where you get back out of the backfield, receiver up the field, and like, here comes the jet motion with it or whatever. It's like everybody's going, and like, you can't cover them all, and you just pick the one you hit. And Reed had pretty good success with that. So 7's a difference maker on offense. We know that. That's not a big surprise to anybody. That's not really a secret. And they got a couple dynamic wideouts. Defensively, though, I like the way they get after the passer. 17 can get after the passer. I feel like the defensive line, a little more stout inside than maybe I thought they would be. 9, Cassius Howell can rush the passer. So you got guys that can, like, 33 plays really well inside. Strong hands. He can be stout. He can do some things in there. So third level is my concern for the defense with what you allowed to happen in this game. But I would walk away from this one feeling pretty good about my receivers, pretty good about my front 7, and know that there's more that we can add moving forward. Was there a potential hold on the last play? Don't care. Didn't throw a flag. We don't penalty vulture here. You dropped a snap and didn't get the PAT. Not our fault. Notre Dame had their chances. A&M took advantage of what they got, and they won the game. It's a huge win, man. Like, that should boost confidence. And now you get a week off for Auburn. They should be healthy and be in good shape for that one. Congrats to Elko and those guys, man. That was fun one to watch. And that's a hell of a win. It's a huge win. I'm trying to think who we have not hit. Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky. Okay. Cutter Boley gets his run. He gets to go. I thought he did some nice things. He's got a strong arm. He operated the offense, though. And that means he got in and out of the huddle or the line of scrimmage. He did the things he needed to do, got it out quick. And what I love is throws the ball over the middle of the field. There's a couple of these teams that are doing that right now. Ty Simpson's doing that right now. LSU's doing that right now. Nuss is not afraid to do it. You look at Oklahoma, John Mateer, not afraid of anything. Literally nothing. John Mateer doesn't have a fucking fear on the face of the planet, I don't think. But he will test the middle of the field. And the teams that do that make life very difficult. Because a lot of teams know they don't have to defend it. It was one of the first things I noticed about 2019 LSU. Joe Burrow would bludgeon the middle of the field. Digs, crossers, hitch routes, like seam routes, and he did not care. Wasn't worried about getting intercepted. Bam, bam, bam. Make you defend it, one-on-ones on the outside, underneath stuff, run game, whatever. And it was cool to see a young quarterback go do that. Tight end's massive in this game. 84 blocking, 84 catching the ball. 1-9 can make some plays for you now. And they did in this game. They just don't get a ton of opportunities. Gap scheme and zone looks a little bit better. But duo starts showing up here. And duo, it almost looks like inside zone one way, but they hand it off the opposite direction. You're almost wanting the cutback. You stay on double teams a little bit longer. And they had it going. Looked pretty good. Now, the other runs, a little bit of leakage from the backside on those. You got to shore that up and don't let those backside defensive ends or D tackles or linebackers run through. I like the way 3 runs. He runs hard. 26 impressive. 26 a little more like weight and then burst, but looked pretty good. And when he hits it, it's noticeable now. Although the defense was fine. By the way, we ran a fullback belly in this game. I think Georgia ran a fullback belly. Kentucky ran a fullback belly. Somebody else ran a fullback belly this weekend. Maybe Vandy. Vandy got a couple dudes playing fullback that'll get after you. Defensively, 25, great playing down in the box. 90, tough up front. He's having a good year, I feel like. Zone, a little bit lost a couple of times. Eyes, not where they needed to be. They did get some different looks up front. I feel like I saw a few things from Brad that he changed up. A couple pass plays you'd like to get back because I feel like you thought you could have defended them. Overall, nice day, though. 48-23, Kentucky gets the win. And overall, I thought you had a nice day. So you take that W, you move on. And, you know, kind of like what we're going to do here. We're going to move on. Because we've talked to you about every game that we saw and what we saw in the film. We do it every week right here on Cube Show. We'll be back next week. Please subscribe. Leave the comments. I love the comments of what you guys like and don't like, what you want to hear more of, who we need to talk about. Thank you very much.